This episode is sponsored by the Biggest Fan of Your Life podcast with Zach Owens.
Most of us will never be the famed achievers, experts, or celebrities, but that doesn't mean our lives are any less interesting, amazing, or inspiring.
In each episode, Zach sits down with an average Joe or Josephine, and they share their experiences, knowledge, and stories.
They may not have a following or world-renowned status, but they have fascinating lives that Zach is a fan of, and he thinks you should be too.
So be the most encouraged person in the room today and subscribe to the Biggest Fan of Your Life podcast with Zach Owens, available on the iTunes podcast app, Podbean, and Spotify.
Just two dudes having a conversation. You're my friend and I trust you.
Just parked out by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe.
It's a lake,
that's where I'm at, parked out by the lake. And that lake is where I'm parked, 80 miles from Santa. Sorry.
Someday I'm gonna move.
But not today.
We are not by a lake.
Nor are we 80 miles from Santa Fe.
No, we are in northern Ohio.
Northeast Ohio, good sir.
In this dreary, dull.
What a poop day it's been.
It really has. Just like brown. You look outside and it's just like everything looks brown doo-doo.
Doo-doo, gray, brown, mopey. If Eeyore was a day, it'd be today.
Yeah.
Minus, like, the only thing would be like a light sprinkle going on.
Yes.
To make it worse.
Like a mist.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not misting. It's just overcast and poop.
Like when people make fun of Ohio.
Yeah.
This is what I picture.
But tomorrow it'll be 60 and sunny.
Yeah.
And then the day after that it'll be
snowstorm.
Yeah. Which is part of the reason why I like Ohio weather.
Because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Keeps you guessing.
Like a box of chocolates.
Huh?
Ohio is the Forrest Gump of the states. Have you ever seen Forrest Gump?
I get it now.
You were so confused.
Because you're like, I said keeps you guessing. And you're like a box of chocolates.
Like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're going to get.
It's like, how does a box of chocolates keep me guessing? Maybe it was one of those like Dove chocolate where you don't know what the saying is going to be inside the wrapper. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it? You can touch the skies.
All of them.
All of them. I got one that was quote your dad.
Quote
your dad.
Oh.
So I pinned that up on the bulletin board in the house, and every time I see it, I say a dad quote.
Well, this is the You're My Friend and I Trust You podcast.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong.
I'm correct, I think, in this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not certain of much in life.
But what is truth?
True. Or is it?
Or is it? I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about subjective truth, but more like subjective reality.
Okay.
You know, that hat you're wearing is yellow, but what is yellow?
Right.
Like, I know what yellow is to me, but yellow might be something completely different to you.
That specific thought with colors blows my mind every time I think about it too much.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what if I see and perceive colors differently, and then whatever they told me was red,
right,
isn't actually the true red,
right?
If there is one.
Like, what is red?
Yeah.
Is there a universal red that like everybody sees as red, or is color in general just a subjective vision thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like red, what is red? I feel like I'm in circles now, and now I've confused myself.
Bamboozled.
I've been bamboozled by my own brain. But basically, yeah, what is red? We don't know.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that you know what red is.
I know what I've been told is red.
Right.
Deep questions.
Yeah. I feel my brain just cracking in half.
Think about it too much, we won't get anywhere on this podcast.
Let's just spend the whole hour talking about color and what is and what isn't color and what might be color.
Perfect episode.
Yeah. Well, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while.
Doing pretty good.
Haven't seen you since Sunday. It's
Sunday.
Wednesday.
This is the short turnaround this week. The wife and I are headed out of town.
Where are you going? Where are you headed?
We are headed to the big city of Louisville, Kentucky.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What you going to do?
We are going down to see Ben Rector.
Ah, you going to hit up that Creation Museum while you're down there?
Nope.
I went there on a field trip. Have you ever been there?
No. Go ahead, sorry.
Now I don't think I would like it quite as much.
Right.
Not saying that I'm any less faithful than I was then. I don't know. I have different opinions on things now. But I will say they have that, like, I forget what it's called, but it's a big, massive dome that they project onto and you lay back.
I thought you were going to say they have this big, massive boat. Forget what it's called.
I forget what it's called, but it's really big. It's really big. Almost arkish, you could say. I can't think of the name, though. It escapes me.
Are you talking, is it an Omnimax?
Maybe. Like your chair reclines almost flat.
Yeah.
So you're looking straight up and it's a dome. So like everything in your field of vision, like peripheral and non-peripheral, whatever that's called, is the screen, essentially. And they start with the Earth and then they zoom out and then they zoom out to our solar system and then zoom out to our galaxy. And it just keeps zooming out and out and out until it's like everything that science knows, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like you're starting to get blown away when like our galaxy, the Milky Way, is just a little dot. And then it's like, oh yeah, now you can't even see it. Yeah. And now we're going to zoom out some more. And now here's a cluster of galaxies. We're going to zoom out some more. And now that's a little dot. We're going to zoom out some more. Now you can't even see that cluster.
Makes you feel super small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it planetarium?
Maybe.
I think that's also.
When I hear planetarium, though, I think of like plants, like a planetarium.
Yeah.
Wait, is that what you just said?
A planetarium.
I think of a plantarium, like with plants.
This would be a planetarium.
Planetarium.
Which might be the same thing. But the only way I know.
Planetarium
is because Vertical Church they did a live worship record in a planetarium where they had so they were in the middle playing and then scenes of like nature and whatnot,
that's awesome.
just basically surrounding them.
That'd be so cool, man.
Yeah, it's a really cool setup.
That'd be so awesome. I would not be able to focus in that
me either.
environment.
Me either. I'd be like staring at the ceiling.
Did I ever tell you when I was in band,
You were in band?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were in band.
Yeah, I was in percussion.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right,
but
I'm a drummer, so. But I'd quit after my freshman or sophomore year.
Okay.
But my 8th grade year, we went to some competition, as bands do, and it was in like this really cool area, like venue. Very fancy and prestigious and very high ceilings, and they had catwalks. And for one particular song, I had one job, and it was to, on the ride cymbal with the mallets, whoosh in to like a section. That was the only thing I had to do for the entire song. Like the whole song, I'm just like sitting waiting for that one, which is crucial because everybody drops out and then it whoosh into the next part of the song. And I was like looking around at this place like, man, it's so cool. Like I'm looking up at the catwalk and I was like, I wonder what it would be like to like stand up there and look down at all this. Cause like the architecture was just really beautiful. And then I look down and my choir teacher is just furiously staring at me. And I'm like, oh no. So like halfway through, I start whooshing in.
You whooshed too long or too short?
I missed my whoosh.
Oh, missed the whoosh. I
was distracted. So I can't even imagine playing in a planetarium.
Planetarium.
I would forget who I was.
Yeah.
For a moment.
Yeah. No, that'd be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to the Creation Museum.
Yeah.
But mostly because we can't afford it.
Really? Is it expensive?
I know the Ark is like $40 a person.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, and, that just doesn't float my boat. Ha!
You were so proud of yourself. So proud of yourself. You got to play with a drone today.
I did.
How fun was that?
I have envy like crazy.
Drone fever.
Yes, it's so cool. Part of my job currently is doing some video work for the church I work for. And so a guy who's in my small group happens to have this drone. It's a Phantom 4, which shoots 4K. Like it's really
Crazy.
nice.
It's crazy.
And he got it. I think he used to work for a farm, and one of their clients or somebody bought him this drone and just gave it to him, like kind of as like a business gift, like, so he uses it like maybe once a year. And so I was like, hey, can I borrow your drone? And would you mind if I like flew it? I've never done it before. He's like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. So he dropped it off for me a couple of nights ago. And
He didn't even stick around.
no,
Did he give you like a crash course on
no.
it? Did you look up something?
He said, he was like, if you want me to come over, I can stop by. He's like, or just take out to the parking lot and figure it out. I was like, okay.
Was it hard?
Not really. I mean, the hardest part was like getting it set up because it's in like there's a case on the floor here.
I see.
It's in that case.
Okay.
And so figuring out how to get the propellers on and then everything connected.
I gotcha.
And then I ended up updating all the firmware for him and whatnot. It's really sweet. I actually I first tried it in the gym at our church.
Oh no.
Yeah, which I mean, it's a pretty big area.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, worst comes to worst, like
They're super loud though, aren't they?
they're louder than what I thought they would be. And they also put out a ton, like you stand underneath of it and it's just like dumping air on you, which is kind of sweet. But anyway, so I was in there playing around 2 days ago in the gym, trying to figure it all out. And then today got brave enough to go outside, which is actually easier to fly outside because there's like a little GPS switch that like you can fly by GPS.
Okay.
And so inside you don't really have a GPS signal. So you have to kind of fly all manual. And so when you take off, like either inside or outside, you take off and it jumps up 4 feet and it'll hover there. But inside, it's not like it doesn't really know where it's at. So like it'll naturally drift on you. I took it outside, hit takeoff, and it jumped up and like it just stays perfectly still. And you can see like when the wind comes, it'll tilt itself because it's fighting the wind to stay exactly where it needs to stay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, today I was having fun. I took it up above our church. We have this huge cross thing, which I actually have never noticed until I had a drone up there, which it's dumb. It's huge.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those things like it's so high up there that like I've seen it before, but now it's just like I don't notice it.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Like when you leave a dirty dish in your room for too long, eventually you just don't notice it.
The smell goes away because everything's,
Just blends all in together,
But it was cool when I first took it up and I didn't really get it on video. There was this like a buzzard thing sitting up in the top of it.
Ooh.
Huge. Because I saw it. The camera didn't pick it up. I saw it. It kind of sat up and got freaked out. And so it jumped off and flew into the woods. I kid you not, though, the wingspan on that thing had to be 7 or 8 foot.
Dude, yeah.
It's huge.
I had one of those fly up and like it was feasting on something on the road as I was on my motorcycle. Oh. And it decided to fly up in front of me right as I was about to pass it. And its wingspan was larger than mine is.
It's crazy.
It would have knocked me off the bike. Those things are massive.
But if you think about it, all they really do is eat.
Right.
And then it's not like they are fighting to eat. They just find something that's dead and dying, go pick at it.
Yeah. And they don't really fly too well.
Yeah.
They're not like flapping around like a blue jay.
Yeah.
They're just like flap to this branch and then chill for a day.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. I want to take it out at night sometime because you could probably get some pretty cool like city shots and even just of small towns.
Yeah. Did you lose it though at all?
I did not.
Because I know that's a problem where like the remote loses connection with the drone and then it just will hover off.
Well, this one, it has a built-in, like if it loses connection, it'll return to home.
Oh,
so like wherever
awesome.
you take off, it sets as home on
Jeez.
GPS, which is also a benefit of flying with GPS on.
The technology today.
Right. And so, and also if the battery gets below a certain percent, it knows like it can make it back or not. And so it doesn't matter if I'm like flying it, if it hits that threshold, it'll come back and land right in front of you or wherever you take off from.
Is this one of the ones that has the screen like on the control?
It's not built into the controller. There's like a little iPad mini that he has with it. I can also use my phone. But
And then you're seeing
the camera.
like the camera. Is it kind of glitchy or is it pretty consistent?
No, it's pretty solid. I bumped up the frames per second on it though, and so when you like, I went up. It was at 4, and like it, it doesn't look great, but I bumped it up to 10, and it kind of every now and then would glitch just a little bit because it's trying to keep up. But no, it was actually it's pretty impressive.
Man, I've seen the ones that you can use VR goggles with.
Oh boy,
I think it'd be crazy.
Sick.
I had this idea, like when I was probably 13, of like remote control planes, and then you have like goggles on that you can like see like a camera that's on the plane. You're seeing what the plane sees. And you have 2 of them, and then you and your friend can have like a dog fight. And then there's like laser tag, and then if your plane gets hit, it just falls out of the sky. How fun would that be?
That'd be super fun.
Super
but
fun.
when your plane falls out of the sky,
It's okay because it's like protected.
it's protected.
Yeah.
So it's like a solidly built plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be my question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta get a new plane after every fight.
No. Well, that's awesome. You sent me that video
Yeah.
and it looked sick.
Yeah.
It looked awesome. And it looked like super good quality.
Yeah.
It just really blows my mind.
Yeah. And that,
Do you know how expensive that thing is?
I think we looked it up like new. Now this one is a little older now, but new it was like $1,600
Which really isn't that crazy.
for what you can get with it.
Yeah.
Like for what you can do. Yeah, it's not that bad. Apparently, you're supposed to have like some sort of drone license. Because I was out playing with it, and I came back into the office, and the guy was standing there. He's like, "Yeah, your license on that thing?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You don't, do you?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Most people don't. Apparently, if you go up a certain height, you're supposed to have it." I don't know.
Because you're in like airspace at that point.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I haven't gone super high, so.
How many drones do you think would it take to lift a man off the ground?
I don't know.
And I think you can daisy chain drones because they did that for,
Oh, like this halftime show
Yeah.
and stuff. That was nuts.
yeah. So like all those drones were programmed into like a system. Hi, Allie.
My wife's home.
Yeah. So if you got like 20 drones,
Yeah.
hooked them up to a lawn chair,
There you go.
sat down,
Just bzzz.
fly around.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be really
Have you ever
sick.
seen drone racing?
No.
Yeah. That's
Oh, wait.
nuts.
No. Yeah, I have.
They like fly through stadiums and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to see.
The amount of coordination, like
Oh,
unless they are calibrated differently, because like it's not super hard. It's kind of hard to get used to because like your left stick controls like up your height and down, and then like it'll turn it left and like
Okay.
just spin it. Like if it's floating in the air, and I push the left stick right, it'll just like kind of pivot in the same spot. So
Gotcha.
then the right stick would be like to go forward, to go backwards, to go side to side.
Yeah.
So you have to use, if like for instance, like if you want to get a shot of a car that's stationary and you want to kind of float around it and keep it pointed on the car, you have to time everything right with your fingers to where you're turning the actual body itself, because that's what the camera sits on, and also moving it.
Did you pick up on that pretty quickly though?
Yeah, I
Pretty
mean,
easily?
it probably took me, I don't know, an hour or so to really feel comfortable with it. And I do think like it's really dumb, but playing video games helps.
I was
Yeah.
literally just about to say that you have that sort of training.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
From playing video games.
Yeah.
Whereas like an older person who buys a drone might have a little more trouble.
Yeah, they would probably
it out.
struggle with it.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to the last 2 days.
Awesome.
This is technically my Friday, so pretty stoked now.
You lucky dog.
I know.
Ben Rector is going to be a cool show.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't remember who's opening for him, but
man, you got Need to Breathe last week or the week before. Ben Rector, and then you're going to see Mumford & Sons.
Yeah, which I think is next week or the week after.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
So, which I actually kind of forgot about Mumford, but
that'll be a good show too, though.
yeah. It's a stadium show, though.
Oh, yeah.
And like the last two have been like small theaters, or this one will be.
A little bit more intimate.
Yeah, which I prefer. But yeah, it'll be a good show.
Nice.
So, how you doing?
I hurt.
Say, are you getting too big?
Yeah, I'm getting too swole.
Too swole?
Too muscular. So I worked out. Actually, there's a couple of things I want to talk about with this. So Corey, friend of ours, works at the church with you, has a black card membership to Planet Fitness. So he gets to bring a guest, like as many times as he wants. And he was like, hey, you want to work out with me at Planet Fitness? I was like, heck yeah, that sounds like a good time. So went to Planet Fitness, and I was there for maybe a half hour before I had to leave because there was too many people there. And like my social anxiety was just spiked, and I was just not enjoying myself. I couldn't get into anything, and I was not having a good time. But within that half hour, like pretty much every machine was taken. Like the lat pull downs were open, but I didn't do those. But like all the benches were taken. And like I'd prefer to do a lot of stuff with just free weights, like dumbbells and stuff. So I kind of need a bench to do like incline shoulder presses and military press and like, I don't know, other stuff like that. But one of the machines that I like that was open was the Preacher Curl. So that is just like a bicep isolating machine. So you sit on it, and then there's a little pad right in front of you that you put your triceps on, and then you reach down and grab a bar, and you just curl. And by resting your arms on this thing, it isolates your bis and a little bit of your forearms. So since I was like social anxiety freaking out, I was like, I'm just going to make this my home and just stay on this thing because I feel somewhat comfortable just doing this, and I'm just going to stay here. So I did too many reps on that. And yesterday, completely fine. This was Monday. Today's Wednesday. So Monday, fine. Tuesday, completely fine. Felt okay. Not even really that sore at all. Hardly sore at all. Last night, I wake up at 3 a.m. and my arms are just scrunched up to my body like a T-Rex. And I can't move them. And just pain. Like right in the armpit. Not in the armpit, but like
Elbow pit.
The elbow pit, yeah. Like the muscles right above it and right below it are just like constricted. And like it's 3 a.m, so I'm tired and I'm not really sure what's going on. I just know that my arms are hurting. So I'm trying to like just straighten out my arms, and it's like, So all of today, I've just been in agony. And even like the simplest things, like I did laundry today. So like reaching down into the washer, have to extend my arm to reach the bottom. And it was just excruciating. Even folding a shirt, it was like, this is not going well for me. And dishes sucked. But I've been stretching all day, like grabbing a door jamb, just like pulling and trying to, like I can't even, this one I can kind of get straight, but this one, that's as straight as I can go before it starts to hurt. So I've been stretching. I feel better now than I did earlier, but went too hard because my social anxiety bamboozled me again.
That's a bummer.
It really sucked, actually, because we were working out, and then I just walked back because I have to wrap my wrist because I heard it a couple years ago, and it's like that injury is still there for some reason. I think I might have broke it and just didn't realize it. But I have to wrap my wrist to lift, because it'll really start to give me grief if I don't wrap it. But I wrapped it too tight, so
Good grief.
yeah. So I went back to the locker room I wrapped it too tight, so I went back to the locker room to kind of unwrap it and rewrap it. And when I got back to the locker room, I was like, I just can't go back out there. And then Corey followed me in. He was like, you all right? And I'm like, I can't go back out, dude. I'm sorry. But it sucked. Not a good day. And I have felt very defeated since then.
Yeah.
So, I called my doctor because I have an appointment. I had an appointment set like towards the end of April. That was like a 3-month follow-up to getting put on Zoloft for this anxiety stuff. And I've really noticed no change on it. So I'm out of it now. So I called and was like, hey, can we bump up this appointment? So best they could do was like March 27th. I'm sure everybody finds this part super interesting. But March 27th, I'm going to go in and be like, hey, you need to put me on some much stronger stuff.
Yeah.
Because I haven't noticed any sort of change.
Yeah.
And I'm just worried because Zoloft goes up to 100 milligrams. I was on 50. I'm worried he's going to say, let's try 100 of Zoloft. But I don't think that Zoloft is the drug for me. Because if 50 didn't do anything, what's another 50 going to do? Not what I needed to. So, I don't know. This is a conversation I'll have with my with my family doctor.
Yeah. So back to your biceps.
Yeah.
Your swole biceps.
They're swole. Can you see them?
Yeah.
They're popping.
So how are you going to drum this week?
Oh, I don't know, dude. I'm really hoping that by tomorrow I'm better.
Although I'll say, like, for me, like, whenever I do something like that, like if I'm in the stretch of working out, it helps me if I like do it again.
Really?
It kind of like gets the whatever.
I'm afraid to go lift anything again.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do the same amount, like just like even just a little bit. Okay. And so like maybe moving, drumming, like it hurts, but like, it's not like this painfully hurts.
Right.
It's like almost like a good sore.
Like stretching.
Yeah. Kind of
like all my stretch. Although it kills to stretch right now, but it has been making it feel better, I think, throughout the day.
Load up on some steak and eggs.
Yeah.
Protein in.
Oh yeah.
Build that back up. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, so I watched the Fyre Festival documentary last night.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Oh my goodness, dude.
It's like one thing after another.
It's insane. It's literally insane. And there's so many like different like little sub factions of things going on throughout that were just boggling in my mind. Do you want to get into all that?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into the Fyre Festival. Not F-I-R-E.
No.
F-Y-R-E.
Because it's cooler.
Yeah. Nobody knows what it means.
No.
So the rundown of the Fyre Festival, for those of you that don't know, this guy, forget his name.
Yeah.
We'll call him Brian.
I was going to go with Derek. Brian's the listener. We're going to...
Oh, that's right. Let's go with Derek then. So Derek is this young, mid to late 20s marketing guy. Or not marketing, but entrepreneur. Yeah, that's the word we're going for. So he's built up a business before in the past and has been a part of like large multi-million-dollar businesses, like startups. One of the things he did was he created a extremely exclusive credit card for rich millennials that live in New York. So basically you get this credit card, and once you get that card, you're like part of the club and you can come to the parties and all that stuff.
And like they had I think a couple of different like lofts that you could have access to if you wanted to throw your own party.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of cool benefits if you were a rich millennial.
Yeah. Which we're going to be hearing a lot about rich millennials throughout the course of this discussion.
Yeah.
Because that's like who the main target audience was for this thing.
Yeah, which kind of I don't feel too bad for him.
Yeah, but the thought that I had as I was watching this is, where are these people coming from?
Yeah.
Like, who are these kids, like 20-something, mid-20-year-old people that just have all this money to spend?
Right.
So to quickly summarize the Fyre Festival.
Jumping ahead. Sorry. Sorry, I was jumping ahead.
Oh, but to quickly summarize the Fyre Festival, it was a exclusive music festival on a remote island that cost like, how much was like the lowest ticket price?
Oh, I don't know. Was it under 10 grand for the lowest one? Lowest package. I mean, it was a couple grand.
Yeah, we'll say like 5.
Yeah.
3 or 5 for like the lowest tier, but it went up to 250,000, which is insane.
Dumb.
Insane. And it sold out. All of it sold out. Almost within a day. This entire thing sold out.
But what was nuts is, and this was a big chunk of the documentary, is they sold it on marketing. Like,
right.
Purely on marketing. Yeah. Because the marketing was phenomenal.
Yeah.
They bought an island, or they claimed to have bought.
Well, they did.
Did they actually buy the island?
Oh, wait, no, maybe not. Because in the documentary, they were like, it was like $1 million down payment.
Right.
And they had yet to receive it.
Yeah. And so it was Pablo, is that Pablo Escobar?
Yeah.
His
island.
Yeah. At one time, his private island.
Yeah.
That Ja Rule.
Yeah.
And,
and Derek.
And Derek claimed to have bought this private island.
Yeah.
And so for the marketing, again, this is genius. They brought in a bunch of Instagram models. Mm-hmm. And it was like over a weekend or so, just filmed them like doing model things.
Yeah.
On the beach, having parties,
taking pictures.
Yeah, and they paid this marketing company to come in and create these promos to sell this Fyre Festival. Yeah. Like, they were selling a experience, and that's purely what they sold out on.
Yeah,
because it was the first year for it, so there was no previous customers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nothing had happened before.
Completely brand new.
Yeah. But
basically, like, what we're selling you is a music festival. We're going to have all these cool bands, Blink-182, other bands that I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think they claim to have got Drake.
Yeah.
But and it's a week or weekend party on El Chapo's island with all
in
these
the Bahamas.
Instagram models.
And also like when they announced what it was, they got they call them social media influencers, which I get it, but I hate that.
Yeah.
To all basically at the same time post, it's just a orange square.
Yeah. Yep.
An orange square saying how they were excited for
hashtag Fyre Festival.
Yeah, hashtag Fyre Festival.
Okay, so all they did was Instagram out an orange square. Guess how much Kendall Jenner got paid for that?
It was like
$250,000
to just post that.
To just post an orange square.
That's what I hate about society today.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm like, what are we doing? What is this? These people like that are doing this festival, they're millionaires off of something that is completely fake and made up and not important to society at all.
Right.
It doesn't help a functioning society. It doesn't provide us with food or shelter or water.
Literally.
It's made up.
Yeah.
It's fake.
Yeah.
Same with all the Instagram models and stuff, the influencers. What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
You do nothing that contributes to society. But I can't complain too much because I make audiobooks for a living. So what am I doing?
So, yeah, I feel your frustration.
Yeah.
So the marketing sold it out to the point where they were adding, trying to come up with more packages.
Yeah.
So
they had like a cruise ship package.
And they had a private yacht with a party with, was it Kendall Jenner?
It was Kendall Jenner. That was one of the $250,000 ones. You
Yeah,
get
that's right.
Like a day, or not even like a full day, I don't think, but just like a section of that day to spend with Kendall Jenner.
And so they ended up selling, it was like, what, 25,000 tickets or something like that? Or like total?
100.
Was that
2,500 or 3,000, I think, because the island was too small to begin with.
And then
25,000 would be way too much.
Yeah,
even they knew that.
So whatever they sold, one of the guys that they had, it was a pilot, I think, who was flying them in and out.
Yeah. Who, by the way, this pilot learned to fly via flight simulator on his computer,
Which is awesome.
so like, yeah, I'm a pilot.
Yeah. So he kind of ended up being in these planning meetings, and he was the one, I think he said, he's like, there's no way that this island is going to be able to house these people and to sustain the infrastructure that's needed.
There was nothing on this island.
Yeah.
All that was on this island was an airstrip. Yeah. And that's it. There was no electricity. There was no running water.
And they were selling like villa packages, all the stuff that was just not there.
Yeah.
And so
3-person villa.
Yeah. And so I think it was like that same guy ended up contacting a cruise ship company and had it all set up to where the ship could park offshore and house these people.
Yeah.
And they were just like, no.
Yeah. Their concern was ferrying drunk people back to the ship every single night.
Yeah.
They didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So they wanted it to be like the island was the main pull. Like it's a party on an island. You're staying on an island, not on a cruise ship.
Right.
So they said no, and they fired him.
Yeah. They're just like, oh, you're gone.
Which is a reoccurring theme throughout all of this between Derek, the main guy, and then this other guy that I forget his name, who's not his right-hand man, but was another coordinator for everything.
Was he the dude who wasn't, like he wasn't interviewed, right?
Yeah, he was not interviewed.
Okay, yeah.
And he had done nothing like this before.
Yeah.
Like no sort of organization like this before. Yeah. I don't know how he got
Which is
this position.
The theme of a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Just decided, and the company that Derek owned was working on an app to like if you wanted to book, say, Blink 182. They were working on an app to let kind of normal individuals be able to access these people for events. Now, obviously, they all have the price there,
right?
But like, if I wanted a small time band at an event house, they were working on developing this app. And so his company, that was what they were fully focused on.
Yeah.
Until he just randomly had this idea of doing a music festival.
Well, the music festival was to promote the launch of this app.
Okay.
That was all kind of in tandem.
Yeah.
Like the music festival was the thing that was going to like build up all the momentum for the release of the app.
Yeah.
Yes. But going back to the pilot that they fired, the reoccurring theme throughout this documentary is anyone that told them no was just, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
We don't work with impossibilities.
Mm-hmm.
We don't say that word around here.
They just figured they can do it all.
Yeah.
And so they were like trying to plan all this like 30 days in advance, like some of the key pieces.
They didn't have anything figured out pretty much as far as like stage or like toilets, anything.
Yeah.
And pretty early on, there was some issue with the island. Like they couldn't use El Chapo's island because it was El Chapo's. Mm-hmm. And I think the people that they bought it from were like, you cannot say that it was El Chapo's island. And that was like the first thing they did in the very first promo was, hey, it's a party on El Chapo's island.
Yep.
So because they did that, they were told that they could no longer use the island. So they had to go island hunting and find another island. And they went to, I think, like 3 or 4 other islands and tried to make it work. And then ended up on this one that was not a private island at all. There was a Sandals resort like on the other side. Mm-hmm. But still they continued to say it's a party on a private island.
Yeah. and they released like maps and whatnot, and to the point where I forget the guy's name. He either had like some sort of interaction with Derek before and knew kind of who he was. And so when he started seeing this promoted, he kind of started digging into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And he started a Twitter account to kind of debunk some of the stuff that they were claiming, like especially with the private island, where he basically saw the map and like could just draw in the rest where they just cut out the rest of the island.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of a cool, like that whole story. Again, you should just watch it for yourself. Yeah. Because this documentary is amazing. Just with all the different crap that went on. But that was probably like my favorite part was like there's this dude this whole time trying to
debunk it
and like call bull crap on everything.
And nobody paid attention to him.
Nope.
I'm not I do like documentaries, but like certain ones I'm kind of picky and choosy about the ones that I like or the ones that I watch. This one I wasn't too stoked to watch it because like I've heard about it. Like I've been hearing about it forever now. I feel like I get the whole gist of it, but I was hooked. Like 5 minutes in, I was like, I'm in it. Yeah. I'm completely immersed in this.
Yeah.
So since they didn't have housing, what they did is they like bought reclaimed hurricane tents that were like, I forget, like a relief aid after one of the hurricanes in Florida.
It was like emergency shelter tents.
Yeah, had all these extra tents lying around, so they scooped all those up. And still, they continue to market it as you have a private villa, you have all these different options. And one of the things that dude that you were just talking about, he got a picture of that, of the people setting up the tents, and he tweeted that. Still, nothing. Nobody really paid attention to his account.
Yeah.
So
they were also like desperately trying to get like Airbnbs and different houses on the island and renting them out for the people who bought like the villa packages. Yeah. Because obviously, I mean, what was funny is they were okay with the tents, like selling the tents as something else. But like they desperately felt like they needed to come up with something for the housing for the people who bought the houses, which actually part of it too, wasn't it? The social media influencers. Yeah. They were guaranteed one of these like like mansions basically. Yeah. And so that's what it was. They were desperate because they were on the hook to all these social media influencers. And so they were trying to get locals in the town to like let them use their house. Yeah. And it makes me mad like thinking about it more now. Just because, like, these guys, they're con men. I mean,
oh yeah, totally.
What was an interesting thing too is the guys who were under Derek and whatever the other dude's name was, who was kind of Derek's right hand man. Like all the guys who were working or were hired in to do different portions of it. Like they, for the most part, this Derek dude sold them on, this can happen. Like we're going to make this happen. Yeah. And it wasn't until they got a few days out that they're, and like little things here and there were like, I don't know about that, but he's really positive that we're going to be able to make this happen. Right. And so like,
meanwhile, they're just scrambling.
Yeah.
They had, so it was down in the Bahamas. So Jamaican, people were helping them. Like they would hire out people for labor. And they had people working 24 hours, just round the clock, trying to like scrape stuff together, basically. Yeah, but go ahead with what?
No,
that was it. That was where that thought trail ended.
Yeah, yeah. So with like the locals there, like you were saying, like they were constantly pushing. We need to build the whatever bar, in the staging. And literally these guys were working 24 hours a day, and the foremans there, all locals, were the ones kind of dealing with Derek. And like that's the part that is really sad, is the locals who, for them, this would have been a huge economy boost. Yeah. And now they are all out thousands of dollars of their own pocket, or in some cases, like, I don't know, one of the foremans who was running the crew, he left. Like, he couldn't.
Yeah, he had to leave the island because he had people like come to his house saying, like, where's our money?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's skipping ahead a little bit, but nobody got paid.
Yeah.
Nobody got paid because it failed.
Mm-hmm.
It completely failed. And one of the caterers, who was a local to the island, had all these people working under, and then the caterer didn't get paid. So then all her workers who are working these super long shifts just round the clock, they didn't get paid either. And they're like, hey, where's our money? This main lady that was catering said that she dipped into $50,000 of her savings to pay her people.
Yeah. So
horrible.
Yeah.
To force that lady into that situation. And,
right. And I know we're skipping a little bit around, and that's okay. But it was interesting hearing the stories of the people who came and like what they were promised. You know, they were supposed to get travel details in advance, and no one really was getting anything. And there were supposed to be like private jets that flew them onto the island, and they got there, and it was just like, I don't remember where did they get the planes.
I don't remember either.
It was all they were like commercial style planes.
Yeah, they were promised first class, private jets, and it was a commercial plane. And then once they landed on the island, they were all basically escorted onto like school buses. And then these school buses started taking them to where they would be staying, all the tents, and like you crest a hill and then you just see like a sea of white tents. And like you had in the documentary footage of people who were filming, like their whole trip, like on the airplane, they're like, we were promised a private jet, and look what we got, guys, commercial. And they were filming on the bus when they crested the hill, and they were like, no, turn this bus around.
Yeah. And they also didn't have their luggage.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, at an airport, your luggage gets taken, and so they got there, and I think it was funny too. One of the bus drivers said something about, it's not even finished where you're going. Like,
oh yeah, because there was nobody, like there wasn't a representative from Fyre Festival on the bus, so he was just saying everything.
The day before everyone got there, a huge rainstorm hit.
Yeah, so they had mattresses that they had gotten from somewhere that were in the tents, and everything got soaked. Yeah. It rained and just everything. They wouldn't have been able to salvage anything of what it was supposed to be before the rain. But after the rain, they were completely screwed. Yeah. There was no coming back from that.
Yeah. And so
that was just the final nail in the coffin for everything.
Yeah. And the whole time, the staff, as you know, especially after the storm, the staff were trying to tell Derek, the dude in charge, like, you need to cancel tickets. You need to.
They were telling him like weeks before.
Yeah,
that you need to chop some people off here. Right. Like some of your influencers, you need to tell them that they can't come.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, I think it was the dude in charge of getting catering together. They said that they were in like $32 million already. Yeah. And so like the dude, Derek, he's like, I couldn't cancel because he needed every ticket coming. But so the guys on the bus get to the campground.
Well, really quick about the catering. Yeah. It was $32 million, the company that they were going to use, because they wanted sushi and all this nice stuff. Yeah. And then somewhere along the way, Derek had brought in somebody that he had worked with before, who has done stuff like this in the past. Not shady stuff. Like, I think he was a good guy. Yeah. And he just got kind of pulled into it because he knew Derek. Right. And he was like, I know this guy. I've done business with him before. I want to help him out. I want to try to save this for him. And he was also kind of under the impression, just because of Derek being so influential, he was like, I think he can maybe pull it off. Like up to the last minute, he was like, there might be a way to pull this off.
Right.
It's going to be tough, but I think maybe. But he came in and was just like, listen, this is what needs to happen. And there was also just constant pushback with him too. But he was like, listen, you're catering, $32 million, that's cut. You have $1 million for catering.
Yeah.
So he fired their catering guy like a week before. And then luckily they found another person, which turned out to be one of the locals who owned a company, to do it for $1 million. And we'll get back to what the food was in a minute. But when they get to when the people that are coming for the festival get to the tents.
Yes. They're now at the tents. They're seeing these packages that they thought they bought.
Yeah.
Private rooms or whatever it was. Soaked mattresses.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea where their luggage is at.
Or really where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
There's no organization at all.
Yeah. There's like music playing from the main stage, but it's just like house music off of an iPad or an iPod. And so it's like hours of just confusion with all these people still more and more coming over as the day goes on. And they said at early on in that day, I think it was the same day, Blink 182 backed out.
Yeah, they pulled out.
Yep. Because they said, they didn't feel like they could put on the show that their fans deserved. Rightfully so. They had nothing there.
Yeah.
And so they said as night kind of fell, I'm sure I might be skipping some here, but people said it kind of turned into like anarchy. Yeah. Like people were just stealing whatever mattress they could find that were clean. They finally found the luggage truck. It was all of it was in the back of a semi.
It was a semi.
Yeah.
And they had people just throwing the bags off of the truck, and it was just a free for all to find your bag, which one of the dudes being interviewed that had gone was like, it was trying to find your bag, your black bag amidst all these other black bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people just trampling you to get their stuff. Yeah. But it was like eventually through the non-organization, somebody just said, okay, go choose a tent. Everybody just go choose a tent. So they all rushed over and were choosing tents and stealing mattresses and all this crazy stuff. Also, no electricity at all. Right. Still in any of this.
Right.
I don't know. Failed from there, I guess.
So you have all of these rich millennials with no electricity.
Yeah.
Which that part, it kind of like the people coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you kind of bought into a fantasy. Like you wanted this lifestyle. And so I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for the people coming.
Yeah. And you have apparently anywhere between $300,000 and $250,000 to burn.
Right.
Also, another thing I forgot was on top of the ticket price, they sold a wristband that had like a code, like a scanner, like you would scan it. But what you did is you bought the wristband in advance and then you preloaded money onto it because you still needed money to buy food and alcohol and all this stuff. So none of that was included in your ticket price.
Right.
Your ticket price was the tent.
Yeah.
And they were saying like you need at least $3,000 minimum is what we recommend you put on your wristband.
Yeah.
And also another thing with the wristband was his team was telling him like that's going to be a huge, huge feat to pull that off because of the limited resources on the island. We don't know, like, first of all, the technology itself, we haven't done proper testing on it. It's probably not going to work right. Like with the chips, like when the chip reader first came out for your credit card,
right.
like that failed all the time.
Yeah.
It was that, like the Stone Age of that sort of technology that they were using for that. And they were like, it's not going to work. And he's like, no, but we need to do it this way because it's part of the experience, like a cashless thing. And it's just a party. And
yeah. So obviously like it failed. No bands performed.
Yeah.
The next day, like the staff were basically trying to, they were hiding in trunks of vehicles to get out of the town.
Yeah.
Especially like the locals who had put in all the work were basically
like
coming
out for him,
coming to the house that they were all staying in, looking for specific people. And like one of the guys said he changed clothes with one of the locals into like one of the uniforms that they had or something.
Yeah.
And
to blend in.
And jumped into the back of a SUV and basically just ducked down as they tried to get out.
Yeah.
And so, the aftermath of people on his staff who put expenses for the festival on their personal credit cards.
Yeah.
I mean, $20,000 worth of stuff that they were supposed to be reimbursed for. And now they're being sued by their credit card companies because they're not going to be able to pay that. Plus, the job that they had at his successful company is now gone.
Right.
Because of the Fyre Festival. And so, like, they're all, it's kind of years out of luck. Yeah.
And a lot of these people were not down there on the island. They were working from New York and LA and stuff. And they really had no idea.
Yeah.
They were just being like secondhand information. And one girl said like she had no idea how bad it was until the day that it happened. Yeah. And she was one of the core team members.
Yeah. Which is mind-boggling.
Yeah. Yeah. So people had the workers, or not the workers, but the people who were running it had to escape essentially from the island. Obviously Derek, whatever his real name is, now is being sued, and I think he's going to serve prison time.
Yeah.
I think. But after the festival happened and between his sentencing,
I forgot about this part.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
He was sued right away, and he was no longer allowed to front a company like that. Or to be on like the advisory board for any sort of company like that. But he, through a loophole, he got a friend of his to be the face of this company, this new company for him that was selling VIP tickets to, again, millennials. They actually had the list of everyone that had bought a ticket to Fyre Festival, and they cold emailed and cold called them saying like, hey, we have tickets for Taylor Swift VIP meet and greet for $1,000. If you want them, come take them. And that was their company. And apparently they made like $250,000 off that within like a day or a week or something. But they did that again off of nothing. They did not have those tickets. Taylor Swift doesn't do meet and greets.
Right. And some of the events that tickets weren't even on sale yet.
Yeah.
Or not available at all. And what blew my mind was he had a guy come in and film everything.
Why did he do that?
I have no idea.
So we have like that whole thing on tape.
Yep.
Him committing fraud again on tape.
And that the guy who was basically hired to come in and do it, like, is in this documentary. And he said, first, like, it's a job. He comes in to, supposed to do it. And then throughout the whole process, he kind of started realizing, like, this isn't like real. Like, these guys are frauding people again, or defrauding, I guess.
Yeah.
And so like he started filming more. I think probably more so out of like, oh, this is gonna be evidence at some point.
Yeah.
It's just like, how dumb can you be?
Right.
Like,
but also, how do you pull that off? I couldn't even get a 1% of traction as this dude did.
Right.
Like if I had the vision to create a Fyre Festival, I couldn't even get 1% of the way to accomplishing what he accomplished.
Right.
His failure. I couldn't even get 1% to there. How do you do that?
I have no idea.
What sort of pull do you need to have, and what sort of connections, what sort of money do you need to have? Where does that money come from? It's just this whole thing I was watching, like, what is this lifestyle that people are living?
Yeah.
How is this sustainable? How is this possible? What do you do?
You saw a dream.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They talk about it in the documentary too. There is, and talking about like this isn't important, like to society. It contributes in no way. There literally is an Instagram account worth millions of dollars. It's called Jerry. It's worth millions of dollars. And what it is this dude built up this entire brand off of this Instagram account from stealing other people's content. So I follow some smaller YouTubers. I follow a few different YouTubers, but some smaller ones. And the way that they make their living, they don't make a great living, but they feed themselves off of making videos and posting them on YouTube. And some of them are comedic. And this dude would take that video, not credit them at all, and put them on his Instagram account. He got millions of followers, start getting ad revenue money for that, and eventually build a brand off of it. The Jerry brand, worth millions of dollars off of stealing people's content.
Yeah.
Which is just a whole nother thing that's as crazy as the rest of this stuff. That you can become a millionaire off of robbing people and it's legal.
Mm-hmm. It's sad and frustrating and maddening.
Yeah. Like it just seems that entire culture, the people that bought the tickets to the people that put on the festival, that entire culture just seems so weird and alien to me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I really just want to infiltrate it and just see what it's like to walk around in that sort of culture. Yeah. I don't want that for myself. Yeah. I don't want to live that life, but I want to get like a firsthand experience of it. Mm-hmm. Also, another thing, there is a company in Russia that you can rent a private jet and it stays on the tarmac and they'll take photos of you in the jet and then they have a green screen. They'll green screen you flying, but you're really just parked on the ground. And then you can post those to your social media to make it appear like you have a better life than what you do. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm on a private jet going somewhere.
Right.
But really, you paid for this thing, this experience, so that people can look at your Instagram and say, wow, what a cool life this person has.
That's sad.
It's crazy, man.
And it's just not, like you said, it's not sustainable. At some point, that whole culture has got to break.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you kind of see it with people who, I believe that really fuels the mental health epidemic.
Oh yeah,
that we have.
There has been a spike in depression, especially amongst like younger teen girls, and that has been all traced back to social media.
Yeah. So my kids aren't going to have social media.
I don't want mine to.
Yeah, I don't.
If Vine comes back, they can have Vine.
Yeah.
But nothing else.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, once they're a certain age, they have to be able to make their own decisions. I can't keep controlling their lives like that.
My thing is like when they're old enough to have a job and they can pay for smartphone.
Yeah.
Okay. But, before that, I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Go play outside.
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking like phone and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
Like,
I agree with that.
And I don't even think, because my thing is, I don't know, I survived as a kid without even a basic phone.
Yeah. I had, my first phone was a track phone.
Yeah.
And my friends made fun of me for that.
Yeah.
They would say, track you later. I was like, shut up, you idiots.
Yeah. but like,
I didn't say that. It made me sound horrible.
But yeah, like even like for emergency phone, I never had it as a kid. Like, and I was fine.
Yeah.
So I don't like our kids aren't gonna.
Yeah.
Right. Crap. So they can have a job and pay for it themselves.
Right. And not live in some weird alternate reality like these people live in.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Like we're talking about reality, like what is red? Circle back. Their reality is not reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Life is not private jets.
Yeah.
And fire festivals.
Right.
If that is your life, how? How are you doing that? It's got to be parent, like trust fund money, right?
Yeah, it's got mostly.
There's no way that these kids have fresh out of college built up that sort of wealth.
No.
It's insane. It's insane to me.
So society, just be better.
Yeah.
Just don't be such crappy people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be okay with who you are.
Yeah, you
How
don't
you
need to pay for a private jet photo session.
No.
Nobody cares that much about you.
No. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
No one is going to think, "Oh, wow, it's not going to take you like one tick higher in that person's their view of you when they see that picture."
Well, it's like I just went through last week and on my Twitter and on my Instagram. On Twitter, I unfollowed 130 accounts.
Jeez.
On Instagram, I think it was like 70 or so.
Yeah.
And how much better that is. Like, basically, there's very few personal accounts that I follow.
Yeah.
Not because I don't like people, like the people that I would follow, but like, I don't need to know what you're doing.
Right.
Like, I follow news sites, like some meme pages because they're funny to me.
Right.
And like sports stuff, like that's about. And like on Instagram, like I'll follow photographers and just because like that's kind of what I'm into.
Yeah.
But even that is kind of dangerous for me, like we talked about before.
I know some of those photographers at least appear to have pretty awesome lives where it's like they're just jet setting around the world taking sweet photos.
Right.
And that's their life.
Like, I want that life.
Right.
It's like, no, I have a great life and
yeah.
And I'm content with it. But
yeah. All I have is Twitter and I'm completely fine with that. And sometimes I debate just deleting that.
Yeah.
Because it's just all garbage and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not important.
Yep.
What's important is friends, family, community, a solid community of actual real people
that you can talk to face to face.
Right.
And still having face to face conversations.
Totally. John Mark McMillan, the worship artist, in his live album, Live at the Night, he talks in between songs, and one of the things that he says is he believes that all of life just boils down to sitting across the table with another person, having a conversation and toasting it, raising a glass and toasting and hearing that little thing go ting. And I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that for some reason too, just eating with somebody, sharing a meal with somebody is just can be such an amazing and soul reviving experience and fulfilling experience. I don't get anything like that online. Yeah. Anything close to that.
No.
If you do happen to be one of these super rich people who went to the Fyre Festival, maybe you're feeling bad about, what am I spending my money on? It's all me. I need to start diversifying my portfolio. Something that you can diversify your portfolio into is thank you, is the You're My Friend and I Trust You 5K for Compassion. That's right. Pudge and I are going to be running in a 5K if and only if we raise $500 for those good old widows and orphans that Compassion International sponsors. They also dig wells and do other stuff like that. So donate to that. We have $75 raised out of $500.
Whoop,
whoop, whoop. But we need some more. We're not going to run in this stupid thing until we get 500.
Nope. Not going to do it.
Call yourself big shots. Flying on private jets. Going to Fyre festivals with Ja Rule. What happened to him in that documentary? After a certain point, he was just gone.
Yeah.
Like halfway through, he just stopped showing up.
I don't know what his current responsibility is.
Did he jump ship?
I don't know. He's kind of making a comeback this year. Like he's sang at one of the NBA games or rapped, I guess. I don't know. It's Ja Rule.
I've never listened to Ja Rule.
Me either.
Couldn't tell you one of his songs.
But Ja, donate to our 5K.
Yeah. Also tweet at us, maybe.
Yeah, you can do that on the Twitter machine at My Friend Podcast. Type that up in there.
Talking about unfollowing people. I had to unfollow a ton of people on our Twitter.
Really?
The I Trust You or My Friend Podcast Twitter. Yeah, because when I first made the account, just followed a whole bunch of people randomly, and there's like a recommended thing. So you can just follow, and then it refreshes. Follow. And I apparently ended up following like a ton of right-wing people, like super right-wing people. And I went on our Twitter one day, like I accidentally was scrolling through our Twitter feed and not my own. And I was like, man, what the heck is going on? I was like, oh no, I've made a huge mistake. Yeah. So I had to
clean it up.
I had to clean it up.
You had to drain our swamp.
I don't know what that means when he says that.
I don't either. I don't think he knows what it means. It's a catchy thing that people can chant.
Are we still trying to drain it? I haven't heard about it in a while.
I haven't either.
And I don't know. Email us. I'm super tired today, man.
I am very tired.
So I'm just going to lay down. Pull the mic. I trust you podcast at gmail.com is where you can email us if you have a problem with anything that we said, or if you just want to give us some love.
We can always use love.
A little bit of love. Ow, my arm. Tried to stretch it.
Donnie could use some Bengay.
Is that what would help me?
Yeah. Rub that. I have some if you want to try.
Totally. Yeah. Get some Bengay on my arms.
Thanks for hanging in with us.
Yeah. It's a longer episode.
It is.
Maybe when I edit it, it'll be normal length. But
check out Fyre Festival documentary. I think it's called Fyre, right?
Yeah, just Fyre on Netflix.
Fyre.
Fyre on Netflix.
Tweet us your thoughts.
Yeah, please do.
And
find us on Back Row Radio
on Fridays. And you can pick up our podcast wherever podcasts are to be downloaded. Or bought and sold. I'm still parked out by the lake by Santa Fe. And that's where I'm at. I'm parked out by the lake. And that lake is where I'm parked, 80 miles from Santa Fe. And it's the lake where I'm parked out by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe.
Just two dudes having a conversation. You're my friend and I trust you.